Hi guys, came in here and this is a comparison of the selfie camera. So here we go, we have Huawei on the left and we have Honor on the right. Yeah, I hope I will not put it the wrong way. Well, it looks much more clear, I'm not using any filters, it's 4K 30, it seems both are kept. There is no option for 60 FPS, but it's much more smooth, much more detailed, on the Huawei. Like I can see much more details. By the way, the lighting conditions here are not the best, like there are some places with dark and shadows in this room, so I can see that the Huawei selfie camera is working much better, like even in worse conditions. So that's awesome. This was my problem with most foldable phones, and I had issues with like every single, like foldable phone. I had Samsung, I had Vivo Fold X5, I had Oppo Find N5. I wanted to take a selfie like with my wife or my kid, like in worse conditions, when it's a little darker and it looked terrible. So I love this, like I was thinking, am I gonna regret getting Huawei, with 4G and like with MUI 15? But no, when I'm looking at the comparison of the front camera, I'm loving it already. Yeah, so let's have a look at the rest. Starting with the selfie camera picture, it looks much more clear on the left one, on the Huawei Mate X7. Even though the conditions are not perfect, it's quite dark in the room. It's much more sharp, shows much more details there. Now we have one of my dogs. This one is called Pony. And when I'm looking at it, I think most people will pick the left picture with the Huawei Mate X7. It shows much more details, compared to the right one. But for some reason, I'm just thinking like maybe I have an eye problem, but it looks kind of light. Like many times I feel like my eyes see the dog with the colors on the right. But I guess I will still lean towards the left one being better. Guys, I apologize, but it's like I don't know what to take pictures of, so it's gonna be lots of animals, and this is a visitor to our house, house gecko. And I guess we don't have to talk too long with this picture. We can agree that the left one of the Huawei is just better. No need to explain why. You can see the poo in detail in the right corner. You can see the gecko in much better, clear detail. So yeah, let's move to next one. I wish I had another picture to show for food, but I only have picture of this pizza, and I have to say, it was terrible. It didn't taste good, and I think I paid quite a lot for this kind of pizza. But talking about the picture quality, for some reason, I like the picture of Honor more in this case. For some reason, the cheese looks too yellow on the left picture, and I'm not sure if I try to recall if it was really like this yellow, or if it was like the way Honor captured the colors, but somehow I still want to lean towards the result of Honor. Here we go. Once again, we have a picture of an animal, and it's a raccoon this time. And well, I think I like the left picture of Huawei more, but it's not that big difference, just the banana is kind of more yellow. I like it more, but I think everything can be seen in detail in this case, and because the conditions of lightning are quite fine, so I think most phones will not fail. But let's have a look at some videos, that I have recorded of the animals. I think that's more important to me, and that's where the previous foldable phones have failed me. So let's have a look. This is another one of my raccoons. This one is called Galetta, and it's a female. And sometimes they can move quite a lot, so it can get blurry, especially if there's no lightning. But I think it looks cool, and I'm gonna go towards the Huawei on the left, looking better compared to the Honor. I will let you enjoy the sound of my raccoon crunching on carrot. They love them so much. Okay, so 40K 60 FPS again, and now I want to try like how does it handle the low light, because sometimes we want to take videos in the dark, right? So let's see how it goes. For some reason it looks much better on the Huawei, so I'm recording my baby in the stroller, and yeah, I will try to take some videos and pictures while I'm on the way to a supermarket. Here is a zoom comparison. I took it from a rooftop, and honestly, I cannot agree which one do I like better here, because I don't like either, but perhaps the owner is a bit better. Here we have picture of my wife, and I'm using the beauty mode on both phones, and I think I like the owner picture better because the filter looks stronger. Yeah, on the second picture, I'm not so sure I like both, but perhaps I'm a little more leaning towards the owner as well. But it's close this time. Here in the 7-Eleven side, I think the owner did it better, but with this kind of pictures, it's hit or miss. You can see on the next one. Like here, the Huawei did much better compared to the owner. It doesn't look sharp at all, and it's the light is reflecting in some kind of weird way. So yeah, the Huawei is better here. So it depends, it's like sometimes Honor comes on top and sometimes Huawei comes on top. So I wouldn't choose either in this case. Here I took picture of some tree on the way, and I think the picture of Hawaii looks little more clear and the colors look brighter. So I think this is more up to preference, It's not deal breaker for me personally. Here I forgot to turn on the watermark, but Huawei once again on the left, and I think it's better. You can see a little more details. Yeah, but it's still like these fruits, they don't tell you too much in these pictures, so it doesn't matter too much. But I think the Huawei is little better with the details, and the colors are a little different. So this is once again up to preference, what you prefer. Here we have picture of my son in a stroller, and I think I like the owner's output more. It doesn't look as processed, and I think the skin tone looks more like real life, So I think I will choose owner this time. Here we have picture of my friend's daughter, and I think in this situation I like Huawei better. I took two pictures, and I think in both Huawei wins. And so, well, I think this is the last picture I have here to compare, and I'm just gonna show you one final video that I took on a rooftop. And you can let me know in the comments which one do you like more, if it's Huawei or if it's Honor, and if you think Huawei is worth it, if the camera is good enough to choose it, like despite all the issues that it has, battery, weak chipset, there are so many things. But I will do a Huawei phone man, I'm tired, I have sore throat, but yeah, I'm gonna do a Huawei phone review later. I think next week. I have the Mate 80 Pro. I'm gonna compare that with the X7, and I'm gonna do a review like of performance and how I feel about the phone. So please subscribe to my channel, and see you next time.